So before I left, we talked about the first three steps of the 8 steps to mindfulness living, which will bring happiness. So we are on the 4th step. And the 4th step actually encompasses a few things in one step. And the 4th step is the first, we call it skillful actions. So you know what is skillful in Pali, right? Skillful in Pali is samma, S-A-M-M-A. And actions in Pali is kamanta. So samma kamanta is skillful actions. And actions, actually this means things that we express bodily, or we perform bodily. So and unskillful actions expressed by the body, there are 3 aspects of unskillful actions committed by the body. So in here we look at the unskillful first, and then we will know what is the skillful one. But now we look at that slide that you have, slide 42. Okay, those skillful actions. How can we actually cultivate skillful action? Is we first have to try to refrain ourselves from unskillful bodily actions. So what are the unskillful actions? So the first one is the taking of life. Okay, so we have to try to abstain ourselves, stop ourselves, and be aware that we are not taking others' life. This has a wider meaning than just killing a human life or animal life. The deepest meaning of taking life means taking any life of a sentient beings. Okay? So what do they mean by sentient beings? Anybody can offer me an answer? Sentient beings. Feelings? Well, yeah, okay. Mind, right? Did somebody say mind? No,
I said they're alive, they're all things.
They are alive, okay. Alive beings which or who have feelings, okay. What else? There is a one important aspect which makes, Yay! Very good. They have a consciousness. They have a mind, and we call it a consciousness. It means anything which has a mind and able to feel, and of course they have to be alive, right? These are the 3 very important characteristics of sentient beings. So taking life, that means intentionally killing, or a deliberate destruction or torture, okay, to a being who or which has a mind, has a consciousness. So that's the big difference between a tree and a dog and a human being. You see, there's a lot of people arguing about taking life, about turning to be a vegetarian, to, about turning on to take up a vegetarian diet. They always say, oh, plants have life too, right? We all agree that plants are alive. But one big difference between a tree and an animal, like a pig or a dog or a chicken or a human being is the tree doesn't have mind, doesn't have a consciousness that is able to process all the mental formations, all the mental processes. So taking a life which has consciousness, then compared to taking a life or taking something, we call it a life, but doesn't have consciousness, that's a very, very big difference. You catch me? Are you still with me? Is the sound okay?
Very good.
Very, very good. Okay. So we are actually very close. I'm invisible. I am visible. I'm visible actually, and audible. Okay. So that this abstinence or this abstaining yourself, there are actually the abstinence can take place in two levels. The first is the actual instructions of a human of a living being. Okay, really taking the life. And the second thing, the second aspect is, or the second level is, you call a deliberate harm or torture to a living being without killing it. Does it happen? It does, doesn't it? There are a lot of child abuse or marriage abuse, or even during war, what do you call them? Those soldiers being caught, in the war field. Prisoners of war, right? Yeah, I just saw a movie when I traveled when I flew back this time. It's about the Olympic runner who was a pilot during the Second World War and be caught by the Japanese and being put into this prisoner camp or war prisoner camp, and being tortured. And that is actually, somebody is already actually committing a breaching of this precept, a breaching of this action. Okay. So abstaining from taking life or abstaining from, so this deliberately causing harm, causing injury, or causing torture without killing it. So, as a summary, skillful action actually means there is some kind of an intention of not wanting to bring hurt or harm to any living being. Right? I didn't see your head nodding. Anyway, it's okay. Yeah, that's better. I can see now. Don't pass out because you nod your head too. Right. So, in the sorry, I think I'll go through these 3 steps first. The second step is abstaining from taking what is these all bodily actions, sorry. And the third one is abstaining from sexual misconduct. So we take one at a time. What is this? Did I finish the last one? Okay. So we've gone through the second point. So, and the third point too. So, and the fourth one is skillful action has the intention of not causing any harm to being. And actually in Thailand there was a teaching. They summarized the Buddhist teachings and put it in other languages that are actually more, a little bit easier for us to comprehend and remember. And this detail means actually the taking of life may have various degrees of moral weight with different consequences. there is actually a difference in the seriousness between killing a human being and killing an animal, because man has more developed moral sense. They could have a more developed moral sense, and because we have a more functional mind, a more efficient mind. Okay, and we have this deep hidden quality we call spirituality, which a lot of other beings don't have. Just because of these two characteristics that makes human beings so-called a better being. But are we better? Are we better?
No.
Why not?
We have the potential, though, to become enlightened.
Yes. We have that potential to become a better being, but we are not necessarily better than any other beings. Okay, but we have a potential. But other beings also have that potential of becoming a better being, because the Buddha believed that every being is equal. Equal in what sense? We talked about that before. Equal in what sense? I'm waiting. I can see you.
Is it in the ability to progress or better oneself?
Yeah, and to where? Which is the goal? Hey, enlightenment, yeah. So you better yourself and you progress to reach full enlightenment, full liberation, right? That's why at that time we are better. Well, I don't like this word better or worse, it's so much duality in there. But still, we are in a way have more potential. We are in a way could be more efficient. We are in a way could be more spiritual. We are in a way could be really better. This word I think is comparing to ourselves in the past. Are we better than the same one in the past? Not comparing me with you, or you with him, or you with her. It's us. Today, yesterday, the past, or the future. Agree? Yeah. Yes. Okay. So there's a difference in the seriousness, okay, between killing a man or killing an animal, because just that man has a stronger potential to actually walk this path and to become an enlightened being. And also the degree of karmic weight depends on the qualities of the being which are being killed, and also his relationship to the one who kills them. If we kill our parents, then the karmic weight on that act would be way, way much better, way, way much heavier than someone we kill, somebody that we don't really relate to, or a friend, or a thief, a robber. Okay, if you kill your teacher, your spiritual teacher, like me, then it's a little bit, actually way more heavier, karmic force than killing your parent. Why is that? Can you deduce some logic behind that?
Because your spiritual teacher is closer to enlightenment.
Yeah, because the spiritual teachers actually teaches you something that allows you to walk this path and towards liberation. So comparatively speaking or relatively speaking, that aspect actually carries more weight as is more important, even though a parent is important because the parent bring us into this human birth, human life, right? So that's why killing a parent, killing a teacher is really a very, very serious act. Okay, so did we talk about this? 3 primary moral weight. There are 3 primary moral weight. One is the object. Okay, so the object we talked about. And the second one is the motive. You are still on slide 44. Slide 44. Detailed treatise. So the motive. So what are the motives of killing? What do you think? Revenge, good. Why would somebody have revenge? Anger. Ill will. Why would somebody have anger and ill will?
Ignorance, wrong view.
Ignorance, wrong view. Craving. That's our biggest enemy, the craving bit. What we want to get, if we don't get it, we start to want it more and more and more. The more we don't get it, the more we get agitated, irritated. And then we start to crave more and more and more and more. And then we start to hate more and more and more. Then when these two are not contained, we are not mindful enough to contain these two ailments, then we express them physically. Okay? So killing driven by hatred is the most serious. And also, as we see from people who have committed crimes, they all or murder. They always say, is this a premeditated action? If it is, then they will be convicted, death penalty or life sentences. But if it is not a premeditated murder, then it will be a second-degree murder, right? Right? Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah. So the premeditated killing, it carries more weight than something that happens out of a blue moon or out of an accident or, not planned. Anything not planned, that is not premeditated. Okay, so if you consider something that happened, like I think last week, a couple of days ago in the States, this cop actually shot another guy, black man, okay, who is running away, and the cop actually shot him 7 times on the back, and he was shot 5 times and killed, of course, instantly. And if he was found to have premeditated intention there, then that would be very terrible act. But if the jury finds that he is sort of like doing his job or just reacting too much, then I think it will be a second-degree murder. So this premeditated killing is actually very, 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 very carry a lot of weight. Okay. And also the force of effort also counts in this. So if you hit somebody with a hammer, or if you hit somebody with an axe, or you hit somebody or you shot somebody, what do you think? Which one has more force? the bullet. Of course. If the bullet is missed, of course, there's nothing, right? But if the bullet actually didn't miss the target, then the bullet has more force. Okay. So the force also carries a certain kind of weight. So you have to take that into consideration. That's the third one. So these three actually take into account of what kind of degree of this commitment. All right. So how can we counter this kind of behavior? Cultivation of
Kindness and compassion for other beings.
you're reading it from my slide. So clever. You're hiding behind the projector and reading from the slide. Everybody knows all the answers. I love this. So smart. Yes, but we all know. We all know. We need to be kind. We need to be kind to ourselves. We need to be kind to others. And in order to be kind, one needs to have this kind of loving kindness and empathy for others before we can actually start to be able to share with others. Before we can actually start to stop hurting others, right? How can we put a distance between ourselves and the others when things happen? Or when we become too emotional, when we become too angry, when we become too ill will, animosity, or we have too much lust. How can we actually sustain our clarity and help ourselves to take one step further on that unskillful path? He said the first thing is this strong awareness. And once you have that strong awareness, it gives you some distance between you and the act, between you and somebody, or between you and some behavior. Okay? That distance is sort of like giving you a few seconds or even a minute of clarity, of like composure. Oh, there's a big mosquito right in front of me. It has been stinging me for the last couple of days. Anyway, so that actually gives the distance to the mosquito. So that distance is very, very important. And we call it a space, right? Interpersonal space. Come on, give me a break, right? Oh, come on, give me a break. That break is actually a distance. Not people giving you a break, it's actually your awareness, your mindfulness will naturally give yourself a break when you become mindful. All right? You still with me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Very good. Okay, so if we have a heart full of, sympathy, empathy, and desire for the welfare of all beings, that gives us a lot of warmth and strength not to hurt others. And also, one very important thing is we don't want the similar things to happen on ourselves. Likewise, we don't want the same thing to happen to the others. Right? So that's the compassion. That's where the compassion comes from. Where compassion comes from. It's cultivation, kindness. It's the understanding, drawing back of your actions, giving yourself some distance, and giving yourself and others some distance. Because of that awareness, that you will be able to do that. All right. So we're going on to the second action. Okay, go to the next slide. Slide 44. Okay, you see all this abstaining from taking what is not given. The important thing to pay attention here is what is not given. That means without permission. That means you take things of others without a permission or with an intention of shying away, or with an intention of hiding it, or with the intention of stealing it. Okay, the intention at the back so takes a lot of weight. So the most common acts on this aspect is stealing, taking the belongings of others secretly. Okay, when you say taking the belongings of others secretly, you see all these children, right? When we play hide and seek, or if they don't not playing hide and seek, but they do hide things of others. What do you think? When a child takes something from another child and hide it, do you think this is an act of stealing?
Yes, well, they don't want the other one to have it.
Yeah. Yeah. But if they are playing a game, hide and seek, if they hide something, but it's in the game, what do you think?
Then they're just playing.
Then they're just playing, yeah. So there's no intention of hiding or intention of taking that thing away from the other child. Okay? But if they are playing a game, then if they are not playing a game, then there is the intention, whether it's a child or whether it's an adult. Okay, so like breaking in or pickpocketing, then it's considered as stealing, like taking what is not given. Of course, robbery, right? Taking things openly by force or threats. You give me, empty your drawer, go into the bank, empty your drawer, even though they haven't shoot, even though they haven't used or hurt anybody, still any robbing is considered as taking what is not being given. And snatching away, like I'm holding a phone and somebody snatch it away from me and using my phone to make a phone call without my approval, without my consent, is also considered as stealing. So be very mindful. Don't snatch away my diddy ball when I'm eating it. Okay, that's considered as stealing without any permission. I think Dairy Queen has to pay me some advertising promotion merits, Okay, fraudulence. We all know that, fraudulence is also claiming something that is not true, or making up something that is not true and to gain some benefits. Okay, that is also taking what is not given. And deceitfulness, using. Okay, I want you to give me an example on deceitfulness. When in this aspect, how can you deceive somebody here? No answers?
We don't know how.
Very good answers. Somebody use false weight, like using a weight of 6 ounces to act as the weight of 8 ounces. You get me?
Yeah.
That's intentionally deceive others. I give you 6 ounces of grains, and they charge you for 8 ounces. Get it? Yeah, that's deceitfulness. Or, give you half a meter or 3/4 of a meter of cloth or fabric and charge for a meter. Yeah? It always happens when I was young. I was young and little when I went with my mom to the market. And I always heard this from my mom. My mom always said to the vendor, you give me the proper weight and you charge me a little extra. I don't mind. But don't give me that, sort of like give me that and charge me whatever you're asking for right now. So a lot of times these vendors will ask for a little bit more money, but they give you the proper, the proper weight that you deserve for that amount of money. Okay? Or if you have a maid, like a servant, and you give them $10 to go and buy food, they bought food worth of $8 and they pocket $2. That's deceitful. That's intentional stealing. Okay? Clear? So why do you think that people steal? Or why do you think that people take what is not given? Very good. Yeah, I didn't say it in my paper, right? But that's a very good answer. Wonderful answer. Yes, greed. And actually, if this is actually governed by greed, it's not as the karmic weight is not as heavy as something of somebody taking something which is directed by hatred. So if somebody steals because they hate you, actually the act will carry more karmic weight than somebody just steals for the sake of craving. Why? What do you think? The intention. The intention. So actually, because when there is hatred as an intention, there is also intention of wanting to revenge, right? So that's the intention. The intention is very, very personal. So why don't we want it to? Why do we want to upkeep this precept? Why do we upkeep this? We call it a precept, an act, such a good act. Why? Do not do harm. Yeah. And also, because we don't want others to do that to us. And also, we want to respect others' property. That's why we put no trespassing. No trespassing, right? Because if people don't respect, then you put up such sign. And if people don't respect further, you tell them, don't come in here. If people don't respect, you say, I'm going to call up. Right? Because they don't respect your privacy. They don't respect your property. And because they are not honest. So here there are two actually qualities, the respect and the honesty. All right? So how can we actually counteract this stealing thing? By the cultivation of, it's not written in the sky.
Generosity.
Very good. Hey, you're getting better. Hey, you guys are getting better, It takes some time, eh?
No, it's all her. It's all a 1-star student.
Not really. All of you are stars, blinking at different times, that's all.
Yes.
Shining at different times, that's all.
Well said.
Okay? Yeah. So we cannot counteract this act by the cultivation of generosity, by the cultivation of helping others, by the cultivation of giving things, giving our support, or just by being honest and being respectful. Can I take this? It doesn't cause any harm to ask. Actually, it causes more harm not to ask. Right? And so it's always better to ask. All you can get is maybe a no. But when you get a no, that means you're not supposed to take it, right? Or the other party doesn't want you to take it. So if you ask, then actually helps yourself to abstain from this act. Okay? Great. Good. So we get on to the third one. Abstain from sexual misconduct. So when we look at these words on the surface, we think it's just sexual misconduct. But actually the Buddha actually has a deeper meaning than what we just see it on the apparent surface. He actually means this sexual misconduct means a damaging form of sensual abuses. We abuse all the senses. Extreme abuse of the senses. Okay? So the sexual one is only this abuse of sexual senses. So the whole purpose of this conduct is actually helping us to protect our marital status, our marital relatives from outside disruption, and also to promote a trust and fidelity in this relationship. Or agree. I've never married, so I don't know how difficult it is to keep marital fidelity, a stable marital status. But even though I've never been married, but I can see keeping a relationship, human relationship, also actually entails a certain kind of restraint in our senses. I can see that even in just ordinary human relationships, okay? And let alone such a close a relationship in a marital with marital relatives, okay? So from a spiritual standpoint, it actually helps us to actually polish down or to curb the expansive and destructive tendency of sexual desire. And of course, he addressed this celibacy thing mainly to people who really want to pursue on the spiritual path, not to householders who have legal or what do you call? Sometimes not legal. Relationships like a long partnership, long relationship. Okay, so not illicit. Illicit is the wrong one. Whatever. I'm losing my vocabularies. But anyway.
A committed relationship.
Yeah, committed relationships, long-term committed relationship. Yes. So, but for people who want to pursue on a spiritual path, the Buddha said this is the further step in renunciation and purification. So he said in the Majjhima Nikaya, he said he avoids sexual misconduct and abstains from it. He has no intercourse with such persons as are still under the protection of father, mother, brother, sister, or relatives. Okay? Nor with married women, nor with female convicts, nor, lastly, with betrothed girls. So we can see here there are actually a few categories of women. Okay, this is talking about sexual misconduct for men. So there are a few groups of women. If you have sex with them, you consider to have sexual misconduct. Okay? First one is married woman. We all know that. Okay. Second one is a woman under the protection of father, mother, brothers, sisters, or relatives. Okay? Like underage, or mentally handicapped, or any categories of women who are under this protection of relatives or parents, or under protection of an organization. Okay, anybody in that category, if a man has sex with her, then it's considered to be sexually misconduct. Misbehave. Okay? Or the last group is with convicts and with betrothed girls. That means a woman who is protected by convention. You understand what is by convention? A woman who has vows of celibacy, like a Catholic nun, like a Buddhist nun, or like a Jain, an Indian nun, or somebody who are actually forbidden to be married or to have sex in a social setting, like close brothers and sisters, right? Close cousins. Is it the same in the Western culture?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's the same in the Eastern culture. So close female relatives who are forbidden by social traditions. So that is if somebody commits sex with these kind of people, then they are considered to sexually misbehave. Okay? So we said this illicit partner is a married woman, a woman under protection, a woman protected by convention. Okay. So from a standpoint of a woman, we have to be fair. We talk about the man, now we talk about the woman. Okay? So any other man, the two types of illicit men. The first is somebody's husband. Any man other than one's husband, or any other man, or anybody who has a vow of celibacy, or any man forbidden by convention, our brothers, our fathers, or our close cousins. Okay, so the Buddha actually gave a very wonderful simile about sexual misconduct. He talked about the simile of a leper. I don't think you ever seen a leper, but I have. I've seen a few lepers when I was still working in the medical field. Tremendous pain, tremendous physical challenges, and also tremendous mental difficulties because they are not being accepted by the society. Very difficult disease, not difficult to cure, but physically very, very challenging. They have a lot of sores, they have a lot of pain, blisters, swellings. And the Buddha said, if a leper, when they are tortured, when they're challenged by the pain and the itchiness of their sores, of the skin lesions, an ignorant man, an ignorant leper, when they see a fire, they'll put their hand or they put the body close to the fire. So the heat actually soothes the itchiness, the pain, temporary. But that temporary relief is just like this sexual misconduct. That sense, that sensual pleasure that a leper gets at that time is comparable to somebody who's committed sexual misconduct. And he said, after scorching that lesion, it feels so good. But actually he burned it next day or after some time, not even a day, then that pain, then the itchiness would come back, would return. At that time, the leper would want to scorch it again, right? To bring relief to that itchiness, to that pain. So the leper would constantly go back to that habit because he felt that relief before. So the mind started wanting to get that relief. This is a habit. A habit that one actually strengthens every time one gets closer to the heat. A wise leper knows that he is going to bring more distraction. It's going to distract the mind more than helping is physically and mentally. Okay? You still with me? Can you put up your right hand? Okay, you still with me. Good. Thank you. So the Buddha said, any sex that comes from force, coerciveness, or violence constitutes transgression. And the transgression only falls onto the offender. It doesn't fall on the victim. Or doesn't fall on somebody who is compelled to submit themselves. Okay? So, how can you counteract that?
Being of service.
Being of service, yes.
Giving volunteer service work.
Okay. So cultivating of some good merits. And or anything else? Couldn't hear. Couldn't hear. Huh?
You mean the counteraction, right? Whatever you call that.
How can we counteract this?
Meditation.
Mindfulness, yeah, good.
Just separate yourself from, the opposites. Like, don't be chatting and meeting up with them in dark places and getting yourself tempted.
Exactly. You said it right, Nora. You said it right. Really, you have to intentionally remove yourself. Okay, intentionally remove yourself, but that intention carries so much weight of mindfulness in there, right? If there is no mindfulness, there is no intention. Of course, if there is no intention, there is no mindfulness. They work close together. Okay, and also And also, remember the respect. Everything on this actually stays also stays on based on respect. You respect others, and you don't want to hurt them, because vice versa, you don't want yourself to be hurt by others. Okay, you don't want to be sexually abused by others, okay? And you want to protect their family, same as you want others to protect your family too, right? So, of course, for monastics, the Buddha actually asks for a little bit more, or for somebody who wants to pursue on a spiritual path, you have to commit yourself a little bit more than just sexual misconduct with other party. You actually have to commit yourself to maintain a status of celibacy, complete celibacy. That means even self-sex is considered as misconduct. Okay? So for people who have this vow of celibacy, they need to actually be more stringent, be more diligent, scrupulous in this aspect. Because the Buddha said, if somebody aims at a higher goal of liberation and purity, this aspect, sexual conduct, is one big obstacle. Okay, and when you pursue on a meditation path, if you meditate long enough, sometimes if you really experience yourself in really long meditation retreat, this sexual desire a lot of times would be the first challenge that actually surfaces during a long retreat. And it could be very, very overpowering, very overwhelming. Because this is a very, very strong, there is a very, very strong seed in human being, or even in animals' world. This sexual commitment is actually a very, very strong and strongly rooted seed in the mind. So it keeps coming, it keeps coming. As when you are really seriously walking on the path, and you just have to be very patient, very patient, very patient, and keep dealing with it, keep dealing with it, keep dealing with it. Okay? So the Buddha said, we want to attain a pure, more pure life, a happier life. You have to actually maintain that awareness to cultivate a higher morality. And then the higher morality, we all know, besides taking refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, we need to commit ourselves in further steps. Is taking the 5 precepts. It's not to kill, not to steal, not to sexually misbehave, and not to lie, like verbally honest. And also the 5th one is not to take intoxicants. Because the 5th one, taking intoxicants, if you get drunk or doped, then it's very likely, very possible that you will commit the first 4 acts. Okay, one of the first 4 or all of the first 4 acts. Okay, and if one wants to pursue a little bit more, you can actually go higher, taking more precepts. It's not eating after midday, or not using high and luxurious bed, just to actually polish down the seed of craving. Okay, and not dancing, not singing, indulging in music or shows, or wearing perfumes and decorative adornments. Is trying to stay simple, simplicity, simple, and less craving. So mindfulness of skillful action actually help us to overcome the distraction of all these external challenges or temptations. The temptations and the destruction caused by all the unskillful bodily actions of killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, and intake of intoxicants. So this is all why we need to be mindful of skillful actions, these bodily actions, because we don't want to be distracted by the temptation, and we don't want to be destroyed by the temptation, because we would like to be happy. And because we would like to be happy, and we think all beings would like to be happy. And because of that respect of others being wanted to be happy, we don't want to hurt them through our bodily actions. And of course, the verbal actions too.